Hello, and welcome to my talk for today. 3 years ago, I was in St John Regional Hospital. I know this because it was the time when I was sitting at Janet's bedside as she was dying. She died on the 7th of November, but the 7th was a Wednesday that year. So in my strange mind, I always think of her dying on a Wednesday. Each of us experiences the grief of the loss of a person to whom we were very close differently, and the time of grieving varies too. There is the searing, burning pain of the first days of loss, the times when uncontrollable tears and cries come almost unbidden, as a small remembrance stirs a memory which is just too raw. There is the grief of missing, when you know that you want to consult the person who has died. In fact, that you know you should be talking to them about this or that big decision, yet they're not there. Perhaps there is then a sense that they are with us, but there's not even a breath to confirm that feeling. Even today, I sometimes think that it would be good to ask Janet about this or that. There's also regret that can sear the soul. The things which have been said and unsaid never to be said. The decisions laid to one side which can never now be made, and those which were made and are unable to be undone. The apologies not given or received, which means that unforgiveness feels as if it hangs for eternity. These regrets echo in all directions down the corridors of time. Then there are the shared joys of past days, when the sun shone or the future beckoned with hope, days both near and far. The streams which flowed from them strangely dammed and redirected to be completed at some future date. All of these thoughts and more crowd in on a day like today. For me, the sharpness is dulled by the passage of time, but I know that for others hearing this, the wound is still deep, despite the passage of perhaps years. For me, there is still a smarting of pain as days like this come and go. The ferocity of these encounters with grief varies in intensity, but it's still there, crouching ready to leap out of thin air into gripping reality. Then there is the universal hope of life beyond life, the renewing, life-giving resurrection of the power of Jesus. This is the message of all creation, death and renewal. But we must not treat this truth in some cavalier manner, as if it is some kind of eraser which takes away the need to grieve. To do so would be to deny our humanity and diminish God. Jesus wept at the tomb of his friend Lazarus, despite the fact that he knew what happened next. Grief for Lazarus was to do with what Lazarus had to pass through. Grief for the sisters and their grieving. And out of that came life restored. From the shadow of pain and death came the light of Christ, and it still does. Thank you for being here today. I trust that you are keeping well. God bless, and stay safe.